The weather as night indeed has fallen here. Still 93 degrees on the heat index, 82 degrees on the thermometer. Here's a look at how our finalists got here. Yates and Johns. It was a little bit tight in game one against Stone and Warnick, and then they took it in game two. Weinbach and Wright, they had to fight a little bit harder to get here. Mark, when you talk about Dave Weinbach, you talk about a model of consistency. He will end the night tied for the most medals ever in the U.S. Open.
That's right. Dave Weinbach is no stranger to this court or to the medal podium. He's sort of got unusual technique, different from what you're going to see from the rest of the players.
Matt Wright, he was on championship court earlier on this Saturday. He was unsuccessful, but he'd love to redeem himself with a medal here, Melissa.
No, absolutely. He played with Kyle Yates in this tournament last year. He's paired up with Dave Weinbach. They played against these two in the National 6 months ago. Ben and Kyle won. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight.
Kyle Yates is a Fort Myers, Florida native, and he is one of the most experienced players at this U.S. Open despite his young age. Ben Johns doesn't have quite as much experience here on this pickleball court, but he does have a long friendship with Kyle Yates. That could help him out. Official Derek Prince announcing to the crowd how we will get things started, and it will start with Kyle Yates and Ben Johns having the serve 0-0-2. The beginning of the game is the only time that the service side only gets one serve. After this, it will be each server for each side getting to serve before they serve trade sides again. And Johns hits that one short, so the serve will indeed change sides. Weinbach and Wright will take over. 0-0-1 now. If you're new to pickleball, when you hear the score, the first score is the serving team score. The second score is the receiving team score. And the score, and the third number you hear is which server it is. So now it moves to 0-0-2.
We expect to see a lot of hard hit balls in this game. Not typically on the third shot, especially from Dave Weinbach, but these guys are all looking for a ball that's slightly elevated that they can hit hard at the other player, giving them less time to react. Yates went for it there.
And I talked to Dave earlier before this match, and he said expect to see a lot of patience and discipline from he and Matt tonight.
Kyle Yates and Ben Johns both call this Fort Myers, Naples area home.
Ben, also a student at the University of Maryland.
He has spent a lot of time up at College Park.
You can see all these players playing very quickly right now. I think you know, the electricity in the building here, the excitement of the moment, some of these guys are really amped up to play, and we're seeing a couple errors early on. Dave Weinbach will like that one. That's no error.
Yeah, he sure did. So that'll get the serve back for Wright and Weinbach. You mentioned Dave Weinbach's success, especially in this tournament, all the medals that he has picked up just in 2019. Matt Wright has 1 gold and 1 silver in this year's U.S. Open.
Little misread there between Weinbach and Wright. That ball came quickly down the middle. They're not quite sure who's going to take it. They both went for it, hit paddles, and they had a little chat afterwards to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Oh, what a great backhand there by Wright. He's been lauded by his peers as having some of the quickest hands at the net, and showing him off there.
Quick hands and power.
Great dig there by Dave Weinbach, and then that is out.
Yeah, that's what I mean by being a little overexcited here. That's not a ball that Ben should miss, not a ball he would normally miss. It was getting a little bit low, which made it tough, but that's a makeable ball, and he's got to make that if he wants to compete here against Weinbach and Wright.
3-0-2.
In an 11-point game, it's off to a fast start for Weinbach and Wright.
Wright puts it away. A 4-0 start.
Wright looks like he's seeing that ball nice and big right now. Even from that attack against Yates, Wright was all over it. We've talked earlier about how strong his backhand is, that he can counterattack off of it just as well as he can with his forehand.
Oh, Ben Johns going for the Ernie.
Yes.
So he jumped the corner there. He took over the airspace above that non-volley zone. So that's not an infraction. And that's a way to get the ball while it's still nice and high. You can hit down and hit hard.
0-4-1. So 0-4-1. Yates and Johns trying to get on the board.
See Johns and Wright in their black night match apparel. Looking good.
Wow.
Nice defense by Yates and Johns.
Wow.
An even better winner there by Yates, who lets out a little roar and stares down the opposition.
Weinbach going for the around the post shot, defended really well by Ben Johns. Keeps that ball alive, and even though that's just their first point, Yates and Johns pumped up.
They go to a little bit of a dink game.
The dink, of course, this low, slow ball is intended to put the ball in a position where your opponents can't easily attack it because it forces them to hit up. And if they hit up and hit fast, that ball is likely to go long. And so by putting that ball slow and low in the court, you're not trying to win the point with that shot, just trying to limit your opponent's options.
Right down the line.
Really nice reach by Matt. He's got a great backhand.
Such great control by these players, who are the creme de la creme of pickleball players in the entire world.
Mentioned Dave Weinbach's unique technique. You saw him a few times here, sort of waving his arms kind of wildly, you know, suggesting that maybe he was going to go around close to the net post on the outside of the court for an Ernie. Johns and Yates have seen that enough time. That's not going to throw them off.
Johns able to hit it off of Weinbach. Weinbach complaining there was a foot fault, and indeed there was.
Yeah, so when you play that volley outside the non-volley zone, if you touch that line even a little bit with your toe, either as you hit the volley or even after on the follow-through, the momentum of it, that'll be a kitchen violation, and Derek Prince was all over that. 4-3-1.
Yep. Make it 5-3-1. Dave Weinbach from Wisconsin, grew up in Milwaukee, began playing tennis at the age of 4. Ben Johns able to catch up to that one. Dave Weinbach actually at one point came close to being an Olympian in table tennis.
That might explain some of those fast hands he has as well. He found pickleball in Arizona, Sun City Grand, where his dad lives, and they got him out on the court, and he's been addicted ever since.
So 6-3-2 here in this first game. The finale of what has been a fantastic 2019 Minto US Open Pickleball Championship.
Yet historical again.
Historical in terms of players, in terms of prize money, in terms of fans. Come on! Wow.
So Yates is talking to Prince right now. I suspect he's talking about Weinbach's, that move that I mentioned earlier, which Yates, I think, is arguing is an intentional attempt to distract. And Derek Prince is going to watch for that.
Is there a limit to the amount you can do that, Mark, in terms of the rules?
You're not allowed to hinder your opponents, right? You can't do something that is designed deliberately to distract or hinder them. That being said, moving to different parts of the court, that's allowed. That's what you do, right? And so it's a fine line. It's a gray area. Derek Prince has to somehow see inside the mind of Weinbach to be able to determine whether what he's doing is actually about putting himself strategically in a new position or really just sort of getting into the head of his opponents.
9-3-2 now, 2 points away from taking this first game. And Weinbach leaves it short, so the serve will change sides.
3-9-1.
Both players, both sides looking for an opportunity. Weinbach off the net. And that'll move it to 4-9-1.
4-9-1.
This crowd so quiet as they watch these teams battle for gold.
Yeah, definitely more pin drops. It's you can feel the tension, just how important this match is to these players.
Johns and Yates get it back to a 4-point game.
5-9-1.
So you notice that Weinbach and Wright are playing on the same side of the court right now. That's because Wright has to return from the right side in this case.
Great winner there by Johns.
And consequently, by playing the left side as he did, he can't get there in time. And that down the line passing shot is open for Ben Johns. And that forehand down the line is one of Ben's favorite shots.
So Ben and Kyle on a bit of a run here.
And that run will continue as it tightens up to 7-9.
I think we're going to get a timeout.
Weinbach and Wright will use the timeout. We'll take a break as well.